Earlier in the day, we've heard from our special guests. We were inspired. Some of the things that caught my mind was when he first went to Italy, and he found out that if he had to study in Italy, he has to learn new language, and that he didn't want to wait, and he considered that as a delay, and he avoided Italy and went where he can achieve his goal. We also learned through scholarships. We can have people like Mr. Jelani who could identify opportunities and achieve their visions. Resisting challenges because he has focus and has never given up, and he has never looked at his immediate environment to limit his possibilities. And he mentioned that his mind is the only thing that makes a difference. It's not your environment, but your mind. That opportunities are level, the chances of growth are the same. You also have to say no to naysayers. There are people that will come in your life and discourage you. So don't be discouraged. And not to get away. He left Nigeria not just to get away from Nigeria. Most Nigerians want to leave Nigeria because they don't like Nigeria. But in his case, he left Nigeria because he loved Nigeria. He loved Nigeria. And he left Nigeria only to further and achieve his vision. It was not loss of love. It was quest of hope and quest to achieve his purpose. Now it's your turn now to speak directly to Mr. Jelani. Ask any specific questions you have for him, or if you are doing something right now in your life that you need guidance or support, or anything that you want to find out about his life, is now your time to ask that question. He will be willing to answer that. But before that, I'm going to ask him 3 leading questions that will guide us in this presentation from my side. And then we are going to divide this whole into 4 quadrants. The first quadrant will comprise of half of this column. Down here is quadrant A, and then quadrant B will be the upper part of this column, and then the lower part of this quadrant will be quadrant C, and the quadrant D will be the people that sits at the upper level there. So this is the order. So if I come to your quadrant, you raise your hand, I will take 5 people. Then you ask your question, he will respond, and then we go to the next quadrant, and again like that. But to lead with this interactive session, sir, as a tradition of this kind of interactive session, I normally come up with like 4 questions to lead, but I'm sure now you'll be brief with these ones, so that we get the lessons, and then we throw the chance to the listeners. So now we've had your story, we were inspired, but if someone will to ask you one question about the lessons of your life, if you live this successful life, what's the lesson of your life? Not the story, but what's the main lesson of your life? What can we learn? The story of Jelani, what lesson do we learn from it? What's the moral lesson of Jelani's story? Thank you, sir.
Yes, thank you very much for that question. It's a very important one. I believe that lesson would be to have sincere focus in achieving an objective that is tied to your talents and your passion. That is, understand as early as you can, or maybe your parents should help you understand as early as everyone could what you are good at, and then put a lot of energy into that. And then understand who has achieved what you want to achieve, understand the path they took. Don't just look at their success, where they are, and say, I want to be like them overnight. How did they get there? Yeah. And then follow that path. And then know that no matter how hard you try, no matter how good you are, you need other people to help you achieve your dream. So learn from other people and then relate with other people who can help you get to where you need to go. You hear about self-made millionaire, self-made billionaire, but of course they had other people that either they worked with or helped them or taught them on how to achieve that dream. So I think those are the lessons. And then also, learning doesn't end with school. When you graduate, that's not the end of it. Actually, I learned more in automotive design while working for GM than I did in school. Yes.
Interesting. That knowledge, the skills are out of schools. Because if you restrict your knowledge in schools, only within schools, then you will not be at your best. So now moving to the second question, sir. Among all these skills, attributes, anything that you have, what do you think served you the most in your life? What that thing, the skill, the attribute, the character that served you the most, that you're proud of? One thing, it could be any character, behavior, or attitude, or skill that you think served you, have paid you well. You are happy that you have that kind of skill. One most important.
Yes, I think the first would be being able to imagine. Because in the world of design, it's all about coming up with something that's not there. So how do you design something purely based on your imagination to be really competitive? And then also, one needs to have the ability and humility to work with other people. Back to the first question, you need other people around you. No man is an island. So no matter how good you are, learn to work as a team member. Because everybody has his or her talent that we all need to really move forward. So one must take, very importantly, the fact that you need to work harmoniously with the people around you.
Interesting. So your ability to imagine, imagination has served you well. And if you want to get successful like him, you need to also improve your imagination. If you are able to imagine the future and solve the future problems, then you are likely to be successful. And another thing that served him well was his humility, ability to adapt and work with a variety of group of people, despite their backgrounds and characters, be willing to work with people. And then the next one, sir, we all know that your vision or your goal is to become a car designer. You are a car designer, the most renowned car designer we have, in Africa and one of the best in the world. Why did you want to become a car designer? What's after the car designer? So that what?
I've always believed you have doctors, engineers, economists, designers, but at the end of it all, what is it all about, right? We have projects, we have big meetings, and we have a lot of things, but why? I think at the end of the day, it's all about enabling people to live a better and happier life. So, as a car designer, you are basically an industrial designer, and what an industrial designer does is he says, okay, here's a problem in transportation that I design a car to solve. Just like, a real creative banker would see problems in the banking sector or the economy and come up with those economic or financial solutions. So I think in addition to automotive design, my passion has, like I've said a lot, is really this country. So the questions I keep asking myself and I work towards to be able to be more a part of is how do I continue to contribute to making lives easier for Nigerians? How do I continue to play my role in making people happier, more productive, living a safer and more progressive life through maybe the intervention of newer technologies or newer solutions that would make a difference to our people, both those in the cities and in the small villages.
Interesting. So for those that are chasing money, you just heard what he said. He didn't want to become a car designer to be rich. He didn't want to be a car designer so that he can be a millionaire, so that he can leave Nigeria. No, he did it to help people. So that's the purpose, the tail end, the result, the end that you want to see. So that's why when in the pursuit of your vision, as long as you are doing it for other people, then you succeed. He said he became a car designer just to make the life of other people better and make people happier. Let's clap for him for this genuine purpose. Sometimes people may look back and regret certain things they have done, decisions they have taken. Do you have anyone?
Well, yes, there would be, but I don't think that was a really major one. Life is interesting in where if you really have faith in the Almighty Allah, 100%, sometimes, things happen and maybe you're not sure why, and you maybe feel, this shouldn't have happened, I wish something else had happened. But later on, with that faith, you see the wisdom in why that particular thing had happened. A lot of things happen for a reason, and it's not easy to see that reason. But after a while, with a good amount of reflection, things pan out, and you say, "Yeah, I'm glad this is what happened." Yes, but I think every individual, myself included, you always have doubts about certain decisions you've made. But at the end of the day, you make the best of what you have, and you go all out with all your capabilities and talents, and inshallah things work out.
Interesting. So we all have our ups and downs. Sometimes we might make decisions, things might not go your way, or the outcome might be different from the way you expected it. But don't despair, because these things are part of life. And so don't count them as regrets. Count them as experience and pick the lessons from them. So we all have our regrets, but the question is, what did we learn from it? Then moving to my last question, as the leading questions, is you focus now more about renewable transport systems. You invented electric vehicles. Now you are in Nigeria. You love Nigeria. One of the resources Nigeria that is proud of is oil and gas. Do you think these electric vehicles pose threat to Nigeria's economic prosperity, now displacing oil and gas, moving to electric vehicles? And do you think the electric vehicles in Nigeria, they have future? What do you think about oil and gas, electric vehicle, and the future?
Yes. Well, let's look at the really big picture, right? Beyond Nigeria, beyond Africa, and let's look at the whole planet. Humanity as a species is on the verge of a major philosophical evolution. An evolution that would dramatically and forever change the very pattern of the human experience. Globally, nature is no longer seen as a force to conquer, but as a medium from which to learn, draw energy, and live in harmony. All the industrial revolutions that came earlier demonstrated a destruction of the environment to achieve human objectives. But now humans have realized, they look around and say, hey, all these things we're doing, they're not good. And if we continue to do it, not only will we destroy the environment, we'll also destroy ourselves. Yes. So this huge decision to move away from burning oil and gas to power our machines, homes, and cars is more of a universal decision by humanity, right? Now, Nigeria being an oil and gas producing nation, there are so many other things you can do with oil and gas beyond just burning them in an engine. Plastics, composites, fertilizer, a lot of different products. And I'm sure, inshallah, even more applications with more research would be found for oil and gas, not necessarily to burn them in cars. So I think we will still be very relevant on the global scale as producers of oil and gas. But in terms of burning and polluting the environment using oil and gas, we will be moving away from that. It may sound, very hard, but once we get over the first hurdle, I think we'll come up on top again. Yes, I see EVs in the future. They're already here. As you know, the Konas are here. Even Innoson has started producing electric vehicles now in Nigeria. And there are other companies too who are doing that. And one beautiful thing about Nigeria, when the world needed oil and gas to burn, to run engines, we have it. Now that the world is going towards renewable energy, we have been blessed with the solar energy. So we are truly a blessed country. And I'm sure, inshallah, if the world changes too, we'll end up with the mineral that the world needs.
But if you look at average Nigerians, mostly below the poverty line, most of Nigerians. But in terms of affordability, how cheap is electric vehicle? Even though petroleum subsidy is removed now, petrol is expensive. Do you think managing an electric vehicle on average maintenance in a month is cheaper than running a combustion engine?
Yes, it is. When it first started, electric vehicles, pound per pound are more expensive to buy at the beginning than a petrol vehicle. But now with recent technologies, especially out of China, electric vehicles are actually cheaper to produce than a traditional vehicle. So very soon we will have, if we don't already, electric vehicles that are cheaper to buy and to maintain. Yes, right now the electric vehicle that we use at home, it costs much less per kilometer to run that vehicle than any of the other cars that run on petrol. So I think in a place like Nigeria, where the purchasing power is low, electric vehicles definitely are the future and the solution for the rich and the not so rich.
Wow, interesting. So, electric vehicle is cheaper than motocin wannan. Motar da ke amfani da lantarki wanda ake cajawa is cheaper to maintain than wanda muke amfani da fetur. So most likely in the future, we will discard our cars and buy electric vehicles because they are cheaper to buy and cheaper to maintain. So now, thank you so much, sir, for this quick response as part of the leading conversation. So now we go to the quadrant 1, which is the half of this column down here. I want to pick 5 people that want to ask question. I will give you numbers, so we take your 5 questions. So I see Yusuf, you are number 1. There is somebody I promise, let me make sure, okay, yeah, you are number 2. Make sure you smile when I'm looking at the faces. Okay, doctor, number 3. Yes, Ella Bay. Yes, number 4. Yeah, yes, number 5. So please hand over the microphone. I'll come back. Just hold on. I'll come back for a second round. Make your questions straightforward. Make it snappy, quick, so that we can take as many. We can even go for a second round, please. So, okay, Yusuf, go ahead.
Mr. Jelani Aliyu, you are welcome to the Home of Heritage and Hospitality. And thank you for the time. In the stories you have shared with us earlier, I have seen mostly you have focused on the success part. And as young people here, we will be glad to know the challenges that you have faced and how you overcome those challenges, especially your trip to America. How do you get there? Is it by scholarship? Is it that Kaseda Gidani Kogo Nanga Katapi? So how do you get there and what are those challenges? Because I think it will inspire us knowing the challenges and how to overcome them. Thank you so much.
So very good question. You mentioned the scholarship. When I went to study the first time out of Nigeria, I would have loved to have gone earlier if I had gotten a scholarship or funding to go earlier. So that dream had to be put on hold, right, before I could really source the scholarship to be able to travel overseas to study. So I had a vision, I had a dream, but I couldn't really get going on it because I couldn't afford, before I got the scholarship, to be able to study overseas, because that particular school, not only was it outside Nigeria, it was particularly expensive as it was. Yes. And a challenge, yes. As I said, I was there for 4 years, graduated, got a job, but going through those 4 years was almost like military boot camp. You were competing. It was there were studies where you were competing day in, day out with other students. So it wasn't just you go, you learn, you remember, you write an exam. You were always doing a project to win, to be able to pass each year.
All right, thank you so much. Number 2.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Please allow me to speak seated, as my legs cannot hold my weight in the presence of this respected dignitaries.
Mamaji, kadan matsa microphone kuma kadan yi a hankali.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, closer to your mouth.
Okay, sir. Please allow me to speak seated, as my legs cannot hold me while I'm speaking.
All right, you can do that.
Before my question, I would like to say something because the question must be subsequently after that. Mostly when speakers speaking during a conference like this, people are getting tired and bored. But today, as you speak, you take time, but we are still feel excited and happy for listening to you. Thank you very much. Today you changed my life. Of course, yes, I'm telling you. And I was one of the students of Federal University Lusama for the past 4 years. In 2017, I admitted I am one of the best comrades.
I share okay, best comrades.
Yes. And I participated in a lot of associations, NGOs, and many more. Even though I was a student, but I am participating in so many commitments. But something came along the way. That is fate, or what you call destiny. Life or destiny kicked me out of school at 300 level.
Wow.
It was very sad. It was very unfortunate. It's something that I will never forget in my life.
Yeah, so sorry. Sorry for that experience. It's okay.
I really did my best during the time. I was sick for over 1 year. What makes me sad and maybe disappointed was how my university will not understand the reason of my absence. I was sick for quite a long time. I write department letters twice, but my school didn't recognize it. I do all my best. After I left there, I joined Omar Musa Eradua University for the second time to see if I could try to keep my hope alive. But what happened was also sad again. That was phobia. Phobia of afraid what will happen again to me. Something similar will happen, I feel. I'm very afraid.
Okay.
So again, I quit the school at 200 level while I'm the captain in BSc chemistry department. I can't go on. I just see the community, the people around me have differences with those ones in Fuduma and see the similarities. I can't go on. These people might have something again bad for me maybe. Because we think about it was what you call sihr. So I'm just not feel comfortable to go on. When I go to school, I see phobias like what happened in the Fuduma might happen again, in fact. Now, the reason of this story is I want to learn, I want to continue my learning, but not in Nigeria, gaskiya. I hate all Nigerian universities, wallahi. I hate it. I see them at the same community as something again will happen to me. My question directly, Mr. Jelani Aliyu, please, I want you to sponsor my education abroad. I cannot read in Nigeria. I cannot learn in Nigeria. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Your story is really a sympathetic story. You had your story. But sorry, could you just reason why you left Fudma? I missed that part. Just the reason. Did you say you were sick?
I was sick for 8 months.
For 8 months, and then when you
and
came back?
I wrote the family letter twice to the HOD, but he refused to forward it to the
Okay, so that's why. How did you leave Umiu?
Just seeing phobias.
Phobia na me?
Na tsoron abin da zai iya sake faruwa da ni kamar irin yadda na fara a dutsen ma irin ina ga bambancin abokai lokacin da na samu matsalar karatu abokai na wasu sun kyale ni da sauransu na ina ƙara tsoron wani disappointment ne again gaskiya similarity na community din
na gane
ya sha
so Sashi wannan is a very brilliant student. I know him. So he started Federal University a dutsen ma so sai kwanta rashin lafiya to sai da ya dawo sai aka ga bai dauki permission ba zo ya rubuta so university din ba su yi processing permission din shi ba so sai bar makaranta sai ya fara wata makaranta da ya fara makaranta sai tsoron abin da ya faru sai ya hana shi stabilizing in this new school kuma wancan abokanan shi duk sun bar shi ganin cewa an kore shi and yake ganin kamar wannan mutanen ma haka sai ya kasa ma karatun so yanzu shi gani ke duk wani Nigerian university ma kamar is the same, maybe other universities are different. So based on your experience, what will you say to this kind of situation or this person? So he needs like guidance or advice, and he's seeking scholarship from you. All right, so but most important now is the guidance. I'm sure no one gave you scholarship, you struggled for it, you found it, but if you can get people that will push us, that's fine.
I'm sorry to hear, what had happened with your studies, and but I believe that there are solutions. But first, imagine a ship, right, traveling along the high seas. Nothing but nothing but water. This ship traveling, it has to reach a destination. The chances are that trip wouldn't be turbulence-free. When you're on the high seas, you have these gigantic waves that try to, maybe change the course of the ship or make it very, very unsafe. But yet, the ship must continue along its path, using the engines, the rudder, and the propellers to really, navigate through those turbulent waters. So in life, there are always challenges, and sometimes there are small challenges, sometimes there are bigger challenges. It is how you, respond to them that determines what you succeed. There are always challenges wherever you are. Even if you go to a school in another city, another country, there may be challenges there that you never thought of. But the important thing is, how do you navigate yourself through those problems? If people don't want to associate with you because of something in your background, don't forget about them. Let them go. There are 8 billion people on this planet, 200 million alone in Nigeria. There will be others who think the way you are, who really appreciate who you are. but never give up on what you want to do, regardless of all the challenges around you, because we know we've all gone through challenges. So stick to your guns and say no. And we face a lot of mirages, right? A lot of things a human sees or perceives really aren't there. They're all phantoms. So learn to differentiate the reality from what you think is real. You know, you say phobia. Usually phobias are psychological. They don't really, there are things that can be worked out psychologically. But we'll talk some more. This is a unique case. We'll talk some more and then find out more solutions.
So have congratulations to you. In zaka tuna cikin speech da na yi magana self-confidence. Shi self-confidence ba wai ka ce kowa sai ya so ka ba. Self-confidence shine ka yadda is okay, is normal, kowa ya kika, ka you are happy with that. You don't have to wait for everybody to love you, to like you. Just focus on your purpose, go and achieve it. Do wanda ka gani, no one has ever achieved anything without a challenge. We all have our challenges, but we overlook those challenges and overcame some of them and still move. That's what makes you strong. That's what makes you a man. That's what makes you successful. If the slightest challenge makes you to give up, then you cannot be successful. Successful people who will face challenges and surmount those challenges, overcome it, and get rid of it. There is always hope in the future. Change your future. Your future may not necessarily has to be the same like your past, but you have to change first for you to change the future. So I will arrange for your meeting with him so we discuss that part further. Thank you so much. Okay, doctor. Doctor is a medical doctor. He's also a hafiz. Mahadacin Qur'ani ne, kuma medical doctor ne, kuma shi ne ke jama tarawih da shi da sheikh a masallacin Bani Kumasi. I'm sure you'll do the other introduction. I'm sure. All right, doctor, go ahead.
Thank you, Prof, for the introduction, and welcome, Mr. Jelani Aliyu. We need to realize, what is in front of us today is something very, very unique. And this is something you couldn't have pulled off even if you are given ₦1 million, to bring Jelani Aliyu here. So I commend, for doing this for the benefit of all of us, the Katsina indigene and beyond. As Prof advised, I'm making it snappy. I have two questions. One is general and one is a bit personal to Jelani Aliyu. The general question is, we just saw somebody now presented you with his design. And we have a lot of young people that does that, here in Katsina and all over the country. Yeah. What can you do, either personally or through your connections, through NADC, to empower these young people that have this passion for design? Just as you once had your passion and through scholarship you were able to go to the US and achieve your dream, what can you do to these young people here? The second question is, we know you've been DG of NADC 2017 to 2023. Now you are a former DG. What are you doing now? Are you going back to the US? Thank you.
That's a very good question. Two questions, but very good. All right. Yes. Proceed, sir.
Yes, they're very good questions. Well, for the first one, what I would really love to be able to do with these talented youth. First, I am part of a competition, the Nigeria Talent Hunt Exploration Challenge. I am part of that. I'm very happy to be part of it. It's a competition that intends to identify talented youth around the country, so that they would not only win prizes, but it will be an opportunity for them to move forward. So I think also personally, what I would love to do is, like I said, my story, I got a scholarship from Sokoto State Scholarship Board, my home state. A lot of these talented youth, the ones I'm talking now in particular, the ones with automotive design capabilities, a couple of them, have been helped to get admission to schools outside, but the challenge that keeps coming up is the sponsorship to go to those schools. So I would really love to have the opportunity to identify the relevant state governors of these talented youth, make them understand the merit of this types of study overseas, and have them sponsor them. Because it'll require quite a bit of resources to go to school. They don't have to necessarily go to the US. We have schools in Germany, Italy, China, the UK. So I'd really love to work very closely with state governors, specifically for kids who are good in automotive design, and help them pursue that as a dream. Yes. So the second question.
What are you doing now?
Yes, what am I doing? Yes, when you first said DJ and ADDC, I was about to say, I'm not the DJ anymore. Yes, glad to have had that opportunity. But like I said, automobiles are my passion. They are me. So I continue to, offer consultancy services both within and outside Nigeria to the automotive sector, and then also working very closely in seeing how we can have a dedicated Nigerian vehicle that is in tune with the culture, climate, terrain, and economic structure of this country. It's not an easy task. It's not an easy task, but we're not going to give up until I believe we achieve that objective, inshallah.
Yeah, so that's a very good question. So what is Mr. Jelani doing now? Banya Gama DG na NADC. Yache yanzu yana in consultancy on automotive design, and yana so creating Nigerian car that is specific for Nigeria. So he's still active. So he's not only here for DG, but he's still active trying to help the society get better. Number 3. Number 4, yes.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah wa salatu wa salam ala nabina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam. Mr. Jelani, you are highly welcome to Katsina. There is no need of much introduction, but I have 2 questions straight. Number 1, it seems like the way you give us this story about yourself, that you mixed naturally endowed talents with acquired artificial knowledge to make you successful the way you are now. What advice for our youths, we the youths, on investing on naturally endowed talents you have to merge it together with acquired artificial knowledge to achieve what you want to achieve in life? That is number 1. Number 2 is concerning issue of skills and the certification. Nobody mentioned, I have been following your stories, your inspirational activities among others, but they don't usually mention about you did first degree, second degree, third degree certification on this and that, but rather about your skills, what you can do, and how that take you to achieve what you achieve in life now. How do you compare or dodge into issue of certification and the skills? I know issue of innovation is all about using what you naturally endowed. Associate Professor Ahmed Adamu, by his friends, colleagues, and they used to tell about him, he's natural, motivational speaker, and leadership development scenes. That is why I invest in it, and that's why he is what he is now. And I realize that the same thing with you. So if successful people can use their naturally talent and merge it with the acquired artificial talents to become what they become, what advice for us? I mean, I'm talking about the 2 of you now. You need to say something. Thank you very much.
So how do you compare talents with that acquired knowledge?
Yes, well, as we all know, for example, in this room, we have a couple of hundred people here. Now, whether each one of us realizes it or not, everyone here is very, very special. Everyone here is special. Everyone is born with a certain capability, certain talent that would be beneficial to himself or herself or to the world. It's just that some people never realize what they're good at, and they go through life without really knowing what they're good at, that talent, but everyone has a talent. So it's very important that we understand what that talent is, or the leaders and parents help their kids understand what that talent is very early on, and then help them develop it. And they develop it, formally by going to the type of school dedicated to such talent, or going into a trade or into some, profession where they can get better and better. So I believe, alhamdulillah, that is what I did. Very early on, I understood I could draw, I could imagine, and then I coupled that with going to the school where I could learn automotive design, taking that talent of being able to imagine and draw and to make it a profession that could add value to a company. Now, in terms of certificates, when I went to the College for Creative Studies, a 4-year college, I came out with a degree in automotive design. But, the job I got at GM, they never asked for that certificate. Up till today, if my file was still there, there wouldn't be a certificate there. They just didn't care about the certificate. They just say, okay, good, you have gone to school. Yes, you went to school to learn how to design vehicles as a professional. That is what is important, your ability to design vehicles, not that certificate. So that's what they do. And I think the same thing needs to be applied in Nigeria. Yes, awesome, great. You have to go to school. You have to get a degree. But it's not that paper itself that is important, but what is in your head that you can use to add value. That's what's important.
Kabuti. All right. Thank you so much. So since you referred to both of us for this question, I think to me the driving force is interest, is passion. When I returned back to Nigeria in 2016, 16, yeah, I think, my driving force was to help people change. Just to speak to you, to maybe a student come to my office, speak to them and make them see world differently. That fulfilling for me. And I started doing the leadership training, moving to cities and towns in Nigeria, writing my first book on leadership and personal development. And I realized anytime I speak to people to help them change, and it's impacting. It changes their lives. And I realize I become happier when I see the impact in them. And then I challenge myself to now read more, to give more. So now, because I'm happy, the brain is always trapping us to want to do what made it happy. When I speak to people, make changes in their lives, and they are better people, I become happy. And I want to repeat that cycle again. But how do you repeat that cycle? By adding more knowledge. You investing in your knowledge. And then reading. Always going ahead. Now we've stretched 4 years. Every year we have new skills to share. Now the next question is, what's going to happen next year? I have to go and read more. I have to learn more because I'm coming back here next year. So discover your passion. He has discovered it. But it has to be always about serving other people, not just the money. If it were money, I could have opted for oil and gas companies and work there as a professional there. I still offer advices and counsel and policy advice to oil and gas companies around Nigeria. So it's not that I don't have the opportunity, because they were not my dharma. You remember the principles of dharma. So I don't want to leave dharma. If you put me elsewhere, I become the fish out of water. So I will not survive it. Even though you are giving me more money, I had the choice to stay in the UK, but I came back. So I think it comes down to the interest, the passion. Once you identify your passion, then build skills around it, acquire more knowledge around it, and then you become happier. And me and you know that we don't value certificates above skills, because skills is what matters now, not necessarily certificates. People have certificates, but they don't have skills, and they don't fit in. So people that fit in best are people with the skills. No one has ever asked him of his certificate. They say, Jelani, you can draw this car, draw it. They don't care whether he had a degree or not. He has master's or PhD or not. But he is one of the greatest car designers in the world. No one asked for his certificate. So this debate has been settled. Skills is always above certificate. Let's move to number 5.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. My name is Jelani Aliyu Abdulaziz. Thank you so much, sir, for your time. Recently, I have been reading so much about successful people, especially entrepreneurs and inventors. And the most common quality I see is that consistency, hard work, continuous learning, and so on. My question is, what is the single most underrated skill that you see among successful people, meeting successful people, and you being a successful person, that you see people are underrated, and how can we develop one? Thank you so much.
I believe it's teamwork, the ability that, the fact that you really can't do anything yourself, that you need people around you to carry the ball with you. Yes, you can be the most talented person in the room, but if people don't want to work with you, or you really can't get along with people, you won't even get a chance to add value, talk less of progressing to become a successful person. So that ability to really relate with a fellow human being, knowing that every person deserves respect and that every person can add value, I think there needs to be more talk on that as one of the very important but underrated factors that lead to massive success.
Interesting. Thank you so much. Let's move to the second quadrant. No, you are already in the first one. So, yes, I'm going to start. So, Habib, I see you. Yes, you, in milk here, and you. So that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, move the microphone. Who is number 1? Who is number 1? All right. Quickly, make it fast.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. My name is Ahmed Salisu. My question is, can you share a particularly challenging project you worked on and how you overcome obstacles out of it? Thank you.
Did you say the current or the previous work that it was challenging?
The previous ones.
That was challenging for him and he was able to still do it.
And how you overcome the obstacles out of it.
Okay. So.
I'm not sure I can really pick out one project that was the most challenging. Yes. In school, like I had mentioned earlier, every project was a competition between you and your fellow classmates. And even at work. It wasn't like you would be asked to, okay, Mr. So-and-so, come up with the design of the 2000 so-and-so Chevrolet or Buick. It was, okay, we need a new vehicle design. At least 5 or 6 designers would be asked to compete, to come up with their own designs, and then one would be chosen to move forward. So if yours was chosen, you are the lead designer, and then the others supported you. If yours wasn't chosen, then you supported the other design, the chosen design, you helped them finish the design, because a car has thousands of parts, so it needs a lot of people to execute a design. So I would say almost every design was a challenge, in terms of if it wasn't a challenge, you weren't really doing your best. But the most exciting were always the ones where we were asked to come up with futuristic vehicles. Because there are 2 types of designs for vehicles. Either you take like, let's say you have a Toyota right now on the road, 2024 on the road, and Toyota wants to do a 2030 Toyota. So that's a new Toyota Camry. Or it could be, it's a completely new type of vehicle that you believe is needed in the future to add value to the market. So my favorite projects were always those where come up with something new that you believe would add value in the future, or look at this community, we need a vehicle solution for them. Yes.
Interesting. All right. Lovely. Number two.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. My name is Habib Abdul Hamid. And my question to you, sir, is that in your own field as a car designer, you stood alone as the best car designer in the world from Nigeria. Of course, you have challenges. And with that, my question is that there are emerging trends and opportunities for the youths. What advice do you have specifically? Because most of those emerging trends are emerging trends that are very, very little known in our own communities. What advice do you have for the youths to help them achieve those emerging trends that could transform their lives and make them great, not only in Nigeria, but in the global stage, just like you, sir? Thank you so much.
Yes, like I always believe, not to be too political, sometimes you hear the discussions, oh, we are northerners, or we are southerners, or we're easterners, and or even we are Nigerians, right? But at the speed the world is moving, I think we need to move beyond that. We even need to move beyond being, I love Nigeria, but we need to move even beyond thinking, oh, we're just Nigerians for Nigeria. We need to be able to plug into the global opportunities with our tremendous skills. So, like I said, we need to see ourselves as part of a global community, learn from that global community, add value to that local community, whether it's in global community, whether it's a city in Nigeria or community in Europe or Asia. We need to develop our talents so that either directly or through the products and ideas that we come up with can add value anywhere in the world. So we're now in the 4th industrial revolution, and some people think we're even probably about to move into the 5th industrial revolution. We have artificial intelligence. You have machines that think like humans, right? And then you're even talking about connecting the human brain to an external data drive. You're talking about flying vehicles, right? Not only electric vehicles are already here, right? So now they're talking about autonomous vehicles that drive themselves, that fly. In Dubai, Qatar, China, now probably soon in Thailand, in the US too, they're talking about using flying cars, right? Autonomous flying cars. So our youth need to really look into these highly advanced, crazy technologies that sound like, oh, that's not real, or that just can't happen in my village or in my town, and see how they can do that. And that is why when I was DG NADC, I said, okay, at that time, what was the craziest automotive technology on earth? Electric vehicles. I said, okay, Sokoto, far northern Nigeria, I'm going to bring an electric vehicle and set up an electric vehicle charging station that is wholly solar powered in Sokoto. So we did that in Sokoto, extreme north, did it in Lagos, and in Suka. So I want us, especially the youth, to think, hey, we can really adopt and develop and leverage crazy technology for the development of our people. Each and every Nigerian, every man, woman, and child deserves to live a comfortable, happy, and productive life. So we should not be afraid of technology. We should go for it. AI, both hardware, software, biotechnology, advanced marine technology type solutions that can harness energy. All these very things, like I say, that sounds like they're crazy, but will really make a difference to those people both in the cities and in the villages.
Fantastic. Go think crazy and go global. In summary. Number three? Okay. Use the microphone.
Hello, my name is Aliyu Kabir Ibrahim. So my question is, what advice do you have to a graphic designer that is trying to stand out in a competitive market?
A person that graduated?
No, a graphic designer.
A graduate?
Graphic designer.
Oh, graphic?
Yes.
Graphic designer.
Trying to stand out in a competitive market.
Interesting.
Yes, graphic design can be really exciting, especially now. I'm sure you're doing a lot of those things digitally. So that really gives you an edge to work quicker, more vividly, and have access to see what is happening around the world. How are they graphically depicting either as a commercial advertisement or packaging or graphics on buildings. Do a lot of research to see what's happening around the world, and don't be afraid to present that to your clients. And use all the digital tools that you can lay your hands on, all the relevant digital software and apps that you can lay your hands on. Use them and really work as advanced. Push yourself to the point where you think maybe this is too much for the client, but it probably wouldn't be.
All right. Let's move to the last one. From that quadrant, number 5. Are we doing number 4? Number 4 now.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Thanks for having us here at Katsina. My question is that, sir, you really made it. You are one of the best automotive designers in the world. So can you please, sir, imagine yourself, for instance, if you have not go to school, and imagine yourself as you are now. Is there any difference? If there is, what are your advices to those talented individuals that we have here in northern Nigeria? Because mostly every year, the population of out-of-school children is always increasing. So how can you advise those individuals or the community as large to take the responsibility? Thank you, sir.
I'm not sure.
Oh, okay. So he's talking about you have the skills, you have the passion, you have the interest, but you didn't go to school. Will you have made it? Because there are so many other children out there who could have been the same Jelani, but they didn't get the school. They didn't go to the school. So how instrumental is schooling?
Well, the way he put the question could be quite complicated to answer, because now you're dealing with destiny, you're dealing with faith as a Muslim, that things are written down. But on the other hand, also it is very disheartening that we have millions and millions of very young Nigerians, especially in the north, who have no direction, and you can tell, Allah knows best. And you wonder what their future is, because they are just, that skill that they've been born with, that they have been blessed with, is just lying dormant, never to be used. So I think it's really crucial, very important. We see them on the streets, right? And all we do sometimes is either give them handouts or say, this person or that group hasn't helped these kids, what are they doing? Well, at the end of the day, it's a collective responsibility. Every one of us has something in him or her to do to make a difference. I think we're all responsible for what is happening on the streets. Of course, some people to a higher degree, some less, but there's something each and every one of us has to do. On the macro level, I think there really needs to be a whole lot more emphasis put on early education. It's going to cost a lot of money, but there's no excuse not to have these young Nigerians in schools. And when we talk about schools, we're not just talking about haphazardly built schools. We're talking about schools at the same level as a school maybe in Sweden, right? Our people, no matter what a person's background is, deserves the best. We are no longer second-class citizens globally. We have to do all that we can, from the very top leadership to the lowest. All that needs to be done must be done to educate our young. Without it, there is no future. We have to educate those young ones, bring them online to be able to add value to themselves and to every opportunity. And I was very fortunate, like I said earlier, alhamdulillah, when I was growing up, we had a library at home. Our dad had a lot of books and encyclopedia that helped me learn a lot of things I definitely did not learn in primary school or secondary school. So parents need to play a more active role in the development of their children. It's not just, okay, I've paid his or her school fees, she goes off, he comes back in the evening, and that's it. You have to engage them. You have to talk to them about the opportunities. You have to make sure they're doing good and better. You have to open their minds to the possibilities around the world and even in their town. So we all must play that role in creating that better Nigeria.
Interesting. Thank you so much, sir. The last person, and that's...
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Good day, sir. My name is Jamil Lol from Daura. I'm here to represent Save the Society Initiative. My speak is two. The first one is seeking advice. The second one is just 1 minute story about what happened day before yesterday on your TikTok handle comment section. I was seeing that link on your TikTok day before yesterday. So I was trying to fill the link. It is not going. Then I start thinking, so that let me go back to the Twitter, your account, so that I fill it to direct to Twitter and it takes me to be here. The second one is seeking advice about our northern news. We are in critical conditions. I know there is insecurity here, poverty, and there is a lot of bad things happening here in northern Nigeria. But our politician used to tell that to our youth is you shouldn't go to school because there is no government job. Government have no job to give you, so like that. They used to tell us that. But sir, I'm here because I was going to school before. So sir, what advice do you have to our youths? Thank you, sir.
I don't know that we captured that, sir.
Yes, I think I did.
Oh, yes, sir. Okay.
Yes, well, good to have you here, all the way from Daura. You know, I read once about this ancient Chinese philosophy. They say, I'm not sure what the exact words were, but that you can go into a forest full of tigers and other animals, but if you know how to handle yourself and take care of challenges, you'll come out alive. Yes. So it is a sad situation with a lot of our education. But as an individual, right, if you're caught up in that problem, I'm sure, like I said, a lot of things need to be done and fixed. But before that happens, you need to be a superhero for yourself. You need to be someone who said, okay, I'm in this challenge, but I'm going to fight my way out of this, and I'm going to make a difference to my life. Because there are always solutions. There are always things that you can do as an individual to better yourself. You know, when you're in school and in class and there's an examination and maybe this girl or that boy, they're the best. It's not that they're really just the best in school. Like I said, maybe they're getting help from their parents or brothers and sisters and making themselves better. So they go out, they get better, they come into the class and they beat everybody else. So if you're caught up in a system that isn't really giving you what you need, learn yourself. You have this powerful tool, I'm sure, in your hand that can make you learn whatever you want. So use it wisely. Learn outside school. Find out people around, real people, walking, talking people. What are they doing? Learn from them, work with them, help them. Even if they don't pay you, better yourself. Make yourself that superhero. And inshallah, you'll begin to see the difference of you rising above those challenges.
All right. Nasiri, you caught my eye the first time. Zaradini. I have so many faces, friendly faces. It seems like I have to be biased a little bit. So Nasiri, you are number one. Zaradini, you are number two. Nasir Matazo, I'll give you number three. You're in trouble if I don't know your name, but let me give you. You in white, number five. Okay, you've been persistent. Number what? Number what? You always say a number? 4, 5. Okay, keep your hands up. I want to add one more. No, those that have not selected. Okay, I will give it to you. Okay, number 6. Mohammed, number 7. So, but make it quick, please. Don't do speeches. Just go straight. So, because I've taken 7 now. Who is number 1? Oh, Nasir is there. Go straight and make it quick.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I am Nasir Salisu from Kankara local government. Sir, Mr. Jelani, permit me to stand over the existing protocols. So my question is, I need you to give more highlight on the secret behind the successful people. As I am following you over a decade, I am used to review your distance. So as you explained at the TEDx Arugungu previously, you made explanation about the secret behind the successful people, where you made an example with one of the most influential people in the world, Konosuke Mostashita, the founder of Panasonic. He was asked about at the interview what was the secret behind the successful people. So you made an explanation. Please, can you share with us this secret so that our people can understand the secret? I guess. Thank you, sir.
Yes.
Number 2. Pass it number 2.
Is there another question coming? You answered this one. Okay. So, yes, very interesting story about Konosuke Matsushita, the guy who founded the electronic company Panasonic, worth billions and billions of dollars. And he started off as, a normal person with nothing. He started that company, just 3 of them, him, his wife, and her brother, from like $0, and built that company to tens of billions of dollars worth. So they asked him, like you said, what is the secret to success? And he said, the secret to success was not being the most intelligent. It wasn't going to the best school. It wasn't coming from a connected family with a lot of money. It wasn't being the most handsome or the most beautiful. So, the interviewer asked him, these are typically the things that make a person successful. You're intelligent, or you go to the right school, or your father or mother are connected, or you're handsome or beautiful. But you said none of this. So what is it then? And he said it is continuous learning. To always learn and make yourself better and better and better.
That's all? Thank you so much. That's beautiful. That's also enough. Okay, number 2.
Thank you very much. Yours sincerely, very quickly, Doctor, without wasting much time, Prof. I remember your interest in me that improved my pronunciation. Thank you very much, Professor.
You're welcome.
My question to Jelani Aliyu is on agricultural potential. Does providing vehicle solution to agricultural sector, the sector that cover almost 70% of Nigerian GDP, almost high number of hectares of agricultural land in Nigeria are viable lands. So looking at your world of experience, what economic vehicle will you provide that will address solution to agricultural land in Nigeria in terms of irrigation, in terms of tree management, but being it hybrid with Internet of Things for sustainability and the solution that will be economically viable and that will create value for money to the Nigerian economy. Thank you very much.
Very good question.
Okay, thank you. I'm not an agriculturalist, but I agree with you. We have tremendous opportunity and potential in agriculture. There is no reason at all. There is no reason in Nigeria not to be able to produce even surplus food, talk less of having enough that would be affordable. I think we have all that it takes naturally, both in terms of the resource itself, the land, and the weather, the geography, and the potential with our people to be able to be trained to be the best and effective farmers. Like I said, I'm not an agriculturalist. I'm not in a position anywhere to be able to make policies on agriculture. But back to the fact that we can do two things. Identify the most advanced agricultural practices from anywhere in the world. There are nations that have desert that have turned into farmland. We need to really study and understand what they have done. If possible, stay there for some time or invite them. Let us do the impossible. Let us revert to the days when we could feed ourselves. Let us understand those advanced technologies, bring them in, whether there are highly efficient tractors or irrigation machinery that is effective, or even drones for fertilizer or herbicides, or just satellite imagery to understand the problems with crops. Let us both the necessary relevant government agencies and all the schools, universities, polytechnics, and other institutions that deal with agriculture, let us go all out. Let us really do all that needs to be done immediately to solve this problem, because there really is no reason why we can't have more food than we need. I think it's doable. Advanced technology, really dedicated academia and government institutions. I think this can be done.
But wait, I just remembered. Have I ever asked you if you have interest in politics, you contesting in an election? The way you are talking about this, it cast my mind.
Well, like I said, I love this country. I love my roots, and I'm passionate about playing my small role in making the lives of people better.
What about the large role for large impact?
Well, roles come in different sizes, and as a patriotic Nigerian, very proud of my roots, very proud of where I'm from, and really in love with this country. It would be an honor to serve Nigeria in capacities relevant to my capabilities.
Offer yourself. Will you offer yourself?
Offer myself?
Yes, to lead at a larger level for larger impact. Contest an election. Will you contest for governor of Sokoto or president of Nigeria?
I think we're all politicians to a degree, every one of us, and I think we can all add value as per our capabilities.
So we declare this answer inconclusive. Number 3.
Assalamu alaikum. Ibrahim Nasir is my name. and I am from Matazu. Let me begin my questions reference to what Dr. Korfi says about Associate Professor Ahmed Adamu, about why is he innovating or creating a forum like this. And the answer was, I want people to change. And I personally understand that yes, there is a driving force, there is a will and a commitment to change a number of population within the society to a population whereby people will think and have focus and purpose in their life. And I appreciate you for that. I want you to keep that. And now let me come to our special guest, Jelani Aliyu. I think my first encounter with Jelani Aliyu when I was a student at the Usman Danfodio University, Sokoto, and I believe many of my generation within that year moved from thinking that we will graduate from the university and got a job with PTDF, NNPC, and the rest of it. Just yesterday, I was in Burning Kebbi, and I was speaking to a friend of mine who now obtained a PhD in computer science from a UK university. And when I go through his computer, I saw Jelani's picture. And he was telling me all the stories that happens, that he's from Kebbi State. And it was because of the talk that we had since our days in the university. He kept it consistently with all commitment that Kebbi State government sponsor his education after his graduation from the university to a UK university where he obtained a master's degree. And today he holds a PhD from the UK university. And now he teaches at Rehan University in Kebbi State. And that is because he and others are all product of the, speech or lecture delivered by Jelani. Please, we thank you for that. I think one of the greatest secrets in Jelani is innovation, creativity, consistent, and he remained learning, and he keep learning up to where he is today. So maybe I don't have a bigger question despite being a journalist, but I believe the knowledge that many of Katsina indigenes today will have is more than ₦1 million knowledge. Because just like what Dr. Korfi says, that for you to bring Jelani to Katsina to have a talk with you is not an easy task. But today, see Jelani, see you. And I believe by the end of this fora, I believe the mindset and thinking of many young people here, both male and female, will definitely change to a better, whereby you start thinking, what am I going to do to better myself? What am I going to do, particularly now that 1st January is about to enter, and what am I going to do? Let's see, from January to December, what am I going to achieve, and the rest of it. I would like to finally appreciate Associate Professor Ahmed Adamu for bringing in Jelani, and I believe Jelani is a reservoir of knowledge, and we thank you for sharing your knowledge with us. Thank you.
Alhamdulillah, mashallah. When you were talking, and I just remembered one point. I believe Jelani may not have been Jelani if he had not traveled out of Nigeria. But of course, there is a possibility he could still be, but we don't know that. But there was a statement I once mentioned to some of my students. I said, you need to leave your comfort zone. You need to leave your hometown. You need to leave, sometimes even the part of the country you come from. Sometimes even leave the country. Even prophets, most prophets, they left their hometown. Even Prophet Muhammad left his birthplace, left Mecca, and went to Medina. Most prophets, you have to migrate for you to achieve success. Even Prophet says, فَمَنْ كَانَتْ حِجْرَتُهُ لِلدُّنْيَا يُصِيبُهَا. If you migrate from your town to become successful, to become richer, you will become richer. Look at ADK. He's the one who designed my clothes, and he's my designer. He left Katsina, he went to Abuja, and he's being successful. So sometimes leaving your hometown, okay, I appreciate him. So if you want to give him work, you follow through me. Give me commission. All right, so you have to leave your country or your state. So kada ka zama kifi rijiya, komi Katsina. Kai primary Katsina, kai secondary Katsina, kai first degree Katsina, masters Katsina, PhD Katsina, aiki Katsina, zama Katsina. Ka zama kifi rijiya kenan. Go out, siru fil ardi. Ka shiga cika bazu cikin kasa. Na'am. Number 3, number 4. Use the microphone. Turn it on.
Assalamu alaikum. I'm very glad to have this very important lecture. You know, I was inspired how we get somebody like Professor Ahmed Adamu in this state, bringing someone like Jelani Aliyu. I'm very, very happy for that. I'm very, very happy for that. I am Umar Ahmed Jibrin. I'm the Secretary League for Democratic Youth. The former president is there, Professor Ahmed Adamu. You know, sir, as you just brief your just a biography, you know, you said you were at UK when former President Muhammadu Buhari called you.
US.
US, I mean, so thank you. He said, came to Nigeria, deliver something in Nigeria. So, you know you are not a politician. You didn't mention your achievement in NDDC, yes. So you didn't mention your achievement there as politicians do when they head an agency. So, sir, we want you to tell us just a brief achievement when you were appointed as Executive Secretary there. Thank you very much.
Director General. DGNADC, Nigeria Automotive Development and Design Development Council.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, it was a thrill. It was really a very exciting assignment to head the NADDC. You know, that agency, its job is to develop the local automotive sector. That is to enable the production of vehicles in Nigeria and see how that sector could be progressed. So what we did was we implemented what was called the NAIDP, the National Automotive Industry Development Plan. And it had a couple of levers. And one of them was to promote investment into the sector. So we managed, while I was there, to reach up to $1 billion of investment by both Nigerians and foreign companies. The set of companies, you know, to assemble vehicles, quite a number of them in Lagos, Ogun, Kano, Kaduna, so that was, we believe that was a good progress, and combined those companies could at that time assemble up to 400,000 vehicles per annum. So part of that NAIDP was also youth empowerment and skills. So we built close to 20 automotive training centers. There's actually one here in Katsina that we built. We have it here, you know, Kano, you know, Sokoto, Lagos, you know, Ekiti, and many other places. The intention was to build one in each state. These would be specialized centers, and we got equipment brought in from Germany that we equipped them so that youth could be empowered in automotive technology. So these were some of the things that we did. We also promoted vehicle electrification, seeing where the world was headed. We made sure the company started to assemble electric vehicles, and I think now that is picking up more speed. So, but overall, we believe we added value in the automotive sector, empowered quite a number of youth, and then also we worked on the policy. This was a policy that would even take the progress even higher by further empowering the Nigerian automotive assemblers. And we also worked on an electric vehicle development plan, which when implemented would really expedite the development of electric vehicles. We also put in place what we call centers of excellence, where they would serve serve two purposes, both educational and after-service provision. And so that's what we also worked on, not to talk of, pushing the understanding of technology by setting up those 100% solar charging stations for electric vehicles.
Well, and so many more. Thank you so much for that. Yes, proceed.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. My name is Suleiman Abubakar. First of all, it's my great pleasure, sir, to talk to you and ask some questions. And for the organizers of this workshop, I really appreciate the effort you put into seeing the success of this workshop. It's very educative, informative, and highly engaging.
Thank you.
Sir, it's my pride to say that I share the same profession with you. I'm an automotive technologist. Although I'm not good in design, but I was taught...
You are not good yet.
Yet.
Good. Yes.
So one of my lecturers taught me that automobile industry is one of the largest employer of labor. So sir, based on your expertise and so much experience, I want you now to unfold the practical evidences you have seen to confirm that yes, automobile industry has a diverse opportunities, especially for young people, to see if we can we still have chance to capitalize on these opportunities. And secondly, sir, if I want to be counseled by great people like you, how do I get to that?
Can you take
counseling. Maybe if I want to be counseled by a profession, mentorship like him.
Okay, that's a better word, yes. So if you want to be mentored,
yes,
by someone like him.
Like him.
Okay.
Especially him. So, because I have been reading about your achievements through different publications. So now it's my great opportunity to express what is in my mind about how I want to be contacted with you. And issue of, I have been hearing questions and expressions about successful people here in this arena. But what we should focus more on is how creative one could be. Because I realized that Jelani was successful because he was creative. I have seen a lot of novelty in him, especially today as he talked to me man to man. So this novelty, maybe some other time, maybe later, we need to know about the features of creative person. That will lead us to becoming successful. Thank you.
The automotive world is really very exciting. There's hardly any human alive now, unless you live in some big remote village, where your life isn't being impacted by the world of automobiles, because you have to move from one place to another, right? Either yourself or your goods or services. And even when we talk about the world of digital economy, right? You still, when you order something online, Amazon, Alibaba, it has to be put on a truck and taken to you. If you order food online, yes, it's all digital, but someone has to ride a motorcycle or drive a car and bring it to you. So that ability to move mass from one point to another will forever be relevant for humans, right? And then when you look at the car itself, these are sports cars that everybody loves. You get into a car, you turn the car on now with a button, right? You turn it on, it comes alive. You just slightly press on the throttle and it takes off. you feel like you're a Superman, you feel like you're Iron Man, right? And then you need to carry tons of stuff, you just put it in your boot. So the car, I believe, there is no other man-made product that has so much emotion and so much practicality as the vehicle. And that is why it is emotionally intertwined and physically indisposable to daily life. And the car itself has thousands of parts, and that is why it employs so many. There are people from the beginning who design it, those who engineer, those who market, those who finance. Then you have those in the factories that build it. You have the salesperson, you have the service. So there's a whole host of hundreds of millions of people who in one way or another are related to the automotive industry. That is why it employs so many people. And now, with the fourth industrial revolution, where these vehicles are being increasingly embedded with artificial intelligence and other ICT products, not only are mechanical skills relevant, but also digital skills. Because these vehicles now are becoming computers on wheels, right? They're just computers that have wheels. You just get into a car pretty soon, sit down, you just talk to it. I want to go home, I want to go shopping. It knows where, it takes you there. So there'll be even more people involved now, not just the mechanical type people, but also the digitally relevant people would now be part of the automotive sector. What's the second part of that question?
Creativity and novelty. How can one enhances that? How do you enhance your creativity?
How do I enhance my creativity?
Yeah, an average person. How could an average person enhances their creativity and innovation?
Yes.
And novelty, creating something new.
Once, while I was in the U.S., a friend of mine asked me, if you were, this was many years ago, way before I came back, and I was asked, if you were to leave the U.S. right away and go back to Nigeria, what is it that you would miss the most? And my answer was very quick. I had no doubt. And I said I would miss the Discovery Channel on TV. Now, why? The Discovery Channel, you know, back in those days, is like the National Geographic. Now, I would turn it on while I was working, either schoolwork or some other work. I would turn it on and watch those nature shows, the Serengeti, the Ngorongoro, the Yankari. So the Discovery Channel in America was my window into Africa, because at that time in Nigeria there was no cable TV. So I felt if I left the US and came back to Nigeria, I would miss those programs that were my window to Africa, because I love Nigeria, I love Africa, I love the wilderness. I'm always fascinated by the incredible flora and fauna, you know, the animals in those places. So I take my inspiration really from those things. When I design my vehicles, I design them to capture that spirit, that magical, physically and emotional aspect of the life in Africa. And you know, the perfect designs are in nature. We can only try to emulate or to copy what nature has done. So that inspiration from nature will always be there, and I'm fascinated by it, by the, you know, the ultimate creator, the Almighty. Nothing beats that. So that's where I get my inspiration, and I try to learn every day from it.
He chose you as a mentor. What do you say about that? He wants to be closer as a mentee.
Good, great. I look forward to that. So we'll talk about how.
So we have two hooks up here. You and you, right? So let's.
Yes.
All right. So number 4. You are number 1. Moving to number 5.
Okay. Assalamu alaikum. Permit me to stand on the existing protocol. My name is Dr. Aliyu Babangida Umar, and I'm here all the way from Talata Mafara, Zamfara State.
Let's appreciate him.
Only to attend this program. The participant will believe me if I say that it's worth it, even if it requires us to pay in order to come and listen to these two brilliant, eloquent, elegant personnels. So on this note, sir, I want to say a very big thank you to the organizers of this program, especially Professor Ahmed Adamu, for giving us this opportunity to come and sharpen our brains in order to get ourselves prepared for the coming year. Thank you very much, sir. And sir, you mentioned earlier that electric cars have come to stay, that the human population are moving away from using, burning fossil fuels. And sir, I am very sure that the global community are already preparing toward that. And sir, my question is, what is the Nigerian government doing in order to alleviate this issue? Because we all know that petroleum is the major driver of our economy. And what can we do, we the youth, in order to help the government to establish other revenue generating resources that can help our economy? Thank you.
Well, I'll just go over again what we did when we were at NADC. That is, we worked on an electric vehicle development policy that would sort of help promote vehicle electrification in Nigeria. We also help to promote the production of electric vehicles in Nigeria. And I think that continues to pick up momentum with more and more companies now going into that game. Now, you as youth, as the world transitions from fossil fuel powered vehicles to electric powered vehicles, then you need to study those fields, vehicle electrification, connectivity, because that comes with such platforms, and both connectivity within the vehicle, between the vehicle and other vehicles on the road, and then between the vehicle and the network that it moves along. So these are the newer fields that you as youth or those going into that field need to understand, because we need to have, hundreds of thousands of people who understand vehicle electrification so they can keep them running on the road, and they can even right from the beginning be part of designing and developing such vehicles. So, a quick search online would begin to reveal that, or, this could be taken out further between us and you so that you further better understand what you can do as a youth in Nigeria to be part of this, really exciting moment.
All right, thank you so much. Next one.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Ladies and gentlemen, members of this house, please permit me to stand on the existing protocol. My name is Salim Suraju from GBA Local Government, the President, National Association of Katsina State Students, Nakat Umaru Musa Erado University Chapter. Before going further, I would like to congratulate you on the achievements you had. I'm wishing you the very best for dunya wal akhirah. And from Professor Ahmed Adamu presentations, where he talked about prioritization of dream. So how do you prioritize your time and energy to focus on the most important tasks and activities that drive your growth and success today? Thank you very much.
Prioritization of tasks.
I think, isn't it your question?
Was it mine? like, who was it for? Oh, okay. So it was reference to what I said. But in your case, how will you prioritize tasks and project milestones? How do you prioritize them? Which one to take
Let him
on?
repeat, because thinking it wasn't my question.
Can you paraphrase that? Can you take it over again? Just quickly.
I said, how do you prioritize your time and energy to focus on the most important tasks and activities that drive your growth and success today?
Yes, well, just as Prof said, you schedule your activities. You say, okay, this thing has to be done by so date. It needs a certain amount of hours or days to get done. So you organize your timing and you prioritize accordingly. And you prioritize according to the importance of tasks, right? The most important tasks that are the most urgent, you work on those. And like Prof also mentioned, you start with the hardest. Once you get the hard done, it's easier to do the easier and simpler stuff. But it's all about priorities. Everything really comes down to priorities. If your priority is to succeed and get things done, that's what you do. If your priority is something else, to laze around and just take life easy, then you'll miss out on all these great things and just sleep forever and not get done. So those priorities need to be set. You need to understand what's good for you, what is it that will allow you to add value to your life and to the community within which you live.
All right, thank you so much. You can refer back to the previous lecture on prioritization. Who's next? Who's the next person? Who holds the microphone? Okay, go ahead. What's your number? What's your last number? Number 7. Who is number 7? Go ahead. Okay, you can speak up.
Assalamu alaikum. So my name is Muhammad Diko Yusuf, and I am a ladies and men's fashion designer. So I normally make some drawings and sketches normally before I started cutting fabrics. With that, I am seeking for a recommendation or suggestion of either a mobile app or a software that could be helpful for fashion industries. This is mine, and thank you.
Are you sure you're not asking DK this question? This is
Okay,
a designer.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Zahraddin Haruna. I'm the CEO, DK Collections Kuto Services. Mr. Jelani Aliyu, you are welcome to Katsina, home of heritage and hospitality, sir. Back 7 years ago, I was a student of Associate Prof. Ahmed Adamu at Nile University at the Leadership and Personal Development Training. So that program has really impacted my life. Aside being an entrepreneur that steps out of his comfort zone from Katsina to Abuja and ventured into creating his own venture of fashion designing, sir, we have achieved a lot, and it's through your own guidance and counseling that makes us to be a better leadership personnel in terms of speeches, making presentations, assigning roles and delegations. So I have one question for Mr. Jelani. So in cases of EVs, electronic vehicles, do we have car maniacs, people that like raving cars? So, sir, how can EVs withstand ravings of engines or maybe car races and what have you? Is there provision for that, or EVs are strictly meant for maybe smooth drive? That's my question, sir. And as for the Associate Professor Ahmed Adamu, sir, you made mention of continuous learning. So, sir, I want to inform you that your student, aside being an entrepreneurship, you be pushing us to pursue, make us to continue to make provision of continuous learning. I'm back now to chasing MBA on entrepreneurship and venture creation. So what I'm trying to say is it's just stepping out of the comfort zone. Being an entrepreneur does not make you to just stay like that. You need to also come back to the books, because going to back to the school has really widened my scope. So if you find your own passion, start chasing it, and also go by the books. I think that will give you an edge in whatever you're doing. And as for the entrepreneur here, my colleague, he made mention of software applications that he might use that can enhance his own sketching abilities and what have you. I think personally I will share some applications that will give you an edge, inshallah, in your own business model. Thank you very much.
Okay, the next person. Okay, we're taking the last row, right? Okay, give me the microphone. Maybe one of them. I saw your hand, right? So you are number 1, right? Raise your hand so that he will identify you.
You are number one. Yeah, with the one with the book, raising your book. The one when they get a body gaga kachang. Number 3, ba? Yeah, the lady there, the young lady, number 4. You're confusing me. The one with glasses, number 5. The one with the pickup, number 6. Rafuka, number 7. Hold on, I will take you guys again. Number 7. So quickly make your question quick. I think we take 2 now at once, and then he responds to both. Now you take yours now, number 1. Please let's hold on so that we finish at once, then we pray together, right? Instead of people leaving for the prayer. So let's hang around, please, for some few more minutes so that we finish together and then we move together, please. Take your question now.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Louder. Move it close to your mouth.
Okay. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. My name is Hawa Armaya Yusuf. Graduate from Omar Musa Radwa University, Department of English Education. So my question to you is, how can we cope with lack of support from parents or relatives? There are so many of us that like to be someone in life, but lack of parental support, the society doesn't support us. As we ladies, they will say, no, you're supposed to be at home, you don't supposed to go out for chasing your dreams. How can we cope with that, sir? Thank you so much.
So number 2.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. I am Muhammad Sani Salis Karmanje. I'm a student of Usman Danfodio University, Sokoto. My question goes this way. Sir Malan Jelani, please, what are the habits and practice that contribute to your success? The habits and practice that contribute to your success.
Thank you. Understood. Capture number 3.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Abubakar Salus Charanchi. My question to Malan Jelani Aliyu is, sir, you have mentioned that in your homes you have some books to read that you usually learn a lot apart from maybe secondary or primary school. Sir, can you recommend us a book that you normally or that impact your life positively and transform your life and made you the way you are now? Thank you very much, sir.
I like your question. That's a good one. All right, number 4 now.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Mr. Jelani Aliyu, I feel so much inspired. I admire you. And in fact, I want to be somebody like you, wallahi. Mr. Jelani Aliyu, I have 2 questions for you. The first question is quite closer to what somebody have asked you there. As we all know that for someone to attain a height in his career, in other words, for a person to be successful in his career, he has to undergo a series of difficulties and challenges. So my questions to you in this regard, could you share with us some of the difficulties and challenges you went through in your career, and how did you overcome them? Secondly, somebody has asked you whether you are going back to America. So I didn't hear the response you made that time. So if you are going back to America, will you carry some of our youth to there so that you mentor them there? So that one day they will become people like you. Thank you very much.
Yes. Okay, next person.
Okay.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, and good afternoon, sir. My name is Abubakar Muaz. I have 2 questions which are going to be quick. One, sir, what role do emerging technologies like the artificial intelligence and robotics?
Can you speak up? Speak louder.
Oh, sorry, please. My first question goes like this. What roles do the emerging technologies like the artificial intelligence and robotics play in the modern day design? The second question is, in the journey and moment of pursuing your goals, sir, how do you handle the creative blocks and also the moment of doubts? Thank you very much.
Assalamu alaikum, good morning. My question is for someone like you, sir, who has worked with international companies outside Nigeria and also worked here in Nigeria. What is it that we will learn from those international companies that you've worked with in very, very developed countries? Because on a normal day, we prefer foreign products from companies that build our roads, from the cars we use, from something as small as the cereals we take in the morning. So what is it that we can learn from those developed companies you've worked with? How do they get the job done, and how do they get it done very, very well? Thank you.
Yeah, I think you are Aisha, right? And I think Aisha? Okay, I like the question, and then just to top it up, what big shock and difference did you notice there and here? When you were there and then you came and worked in Nigeria, was there any big shock in the system and the operation? Yes, Africa.
I'm Usman Hussein Africa, the CEO of Palace and Passport Company. Mine is question, sir. What skills do you develop relevant to our country for our youth, especially for our youth? Because, sir, in Nigeria, we know the situation, sir. We are all, some of our youth, they are unemployment, sir. So what skills do you wish to development relevant to our country, sir? Thank you.
All right, thank you. So let him take a quick response. Do you want to add something? Yeah, the one with the mic, you can speak up now. Go ahead.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I am Alamin Ibrahim. My own is not a question, but I would like to add something on keyword to success that you have mentioned, both of you. I think many of the successful people used to mention dedication, consistency, but they don't use to mention patience. There was a speech you made which remember me of a verse in the Holy Quran in Surah Yusuf. It says, إِنَّهُ مَنْ يَتَّقِ وَيَصْبِرْ فَإِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يُضِيعُ أَجْرَ الْمُحْسِنِينَ. It has many tafsir. I have a lot of teachers here. You are my teacher too, but I don't want to say much. I will just say something. If you strive hard in our way, definitely Allah will guide you to the righteous path. As Mr. Jelani used to mention that as a Muslim, we should be considering of two things, faith and destiny. Prophet Yusuf alayhi salam, before he left his father, after the envy shot by his brothers, he had traveled thousands of miles before having the result of what Allah gave him, that is to be a king of Misra. So what I am trying to say here, we shall always be remembering there is patience. Whenever you are trying to make a move in life, you shall always think of patience, that it will guide you to the way you want. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. So let's take this round. Thank you, guys.
All right, the first on the fashion industry. I'm glad that you have given him, DK has given him, has offered to help out with the software. That's good. You know, EVs, at first, you know, the very first EVs were very weak type of vehicles, but now they're even much more powerful than petrol engines. You know, there's quite a number of EVs pushing well over 1,000 horsepower. And as you know, it comes instantly. Yes, you don't have that growl of a V8 or a V12, but they have their own type of acceleration. You know, you step on the throttle and just like an aircraft, you move forward faster than any Porsche, you know, faster than any normally aspirated Ferrari. And so even these supercar makers, Ferrari, they're now going hybrid, right? because soon even they would go fully electric. And some people sort of have this sound, synthetic sound, put on vehicles, on EVs. I'm not too crazy about that. I think it'll be a whole new experience, and once you drive one of these very powerful electric vehicles, I think one would be sold. Yes. So then the books, right? When I was growing up with that library, most of the books that I really read were the encyclopedia. So there wasn't at that moment any particular, book I would say, but the encyclopedia that, there's a whole host of, all different types of information. But later on, one very good book is, The Magic of Thinking Big. I think that's a remarkable book, very inspirational. So if you can lay your hands on it, it's a good one too.
Think and Grow Rich. You had that one, right? That's what he said. Yes. I'm just translating the slangs,
No, there are actually two of them.
Two of them?
There's another one, yes, there's Think and Grow Rich, and then there's another one, The Magic of Thinking Big.
Oh, Thinking Big.
The magic, yes, Thinking Big.
Thinking Big.
The magic of thinking big.
Imagine and thinking big.
Definitely Think and Grow Rich too. Yeah. So AI and robotics, what role do they have in the automotive sector or for Nigerians? In the automotive sector, AI, with these vehicles that drive themselves, definitely AI is involved because they think and they see. They have a whole host of cameras and sensors, sonar, LiDAR, radar. They communicate with the satellite. So these vehicles know exactly where they are. They know exactly if they were here, that there are steps here. This is an elevated platform, that there are chairs and stairs. They can all sense that and accordingly navigate. Robotics, that's really another very exciting field too. So I think that will also play a role in transportation. You could have robots that deliver things to the military or robots that search and rescue people in disasters. Creative blocks, yes, you will run into creative blocks. Sometimes you just take it easy, relax, go out, take a walk in nature, or just do something else, take your mind completely away from what you've been working on. It comes. One thing about creativity, sometimes you can't force it. You really can't force it. It's either there or not. You can get inspired to be creative, but you can't force it. So when it doesn't come, just take it easy and get inspired by maybe a walk in nature or, talking with someone who can inspire you. I wrote this so fast. So there's one about international companies and the difference there and here, and why we're crazy about international products. Number one, they are very good at marketing, right? So they can, through the marketing, make this thing look like you really can't live without it. That's number one. And then number two, when people work, right, in the US or any of these advanced places, there's a lot of integrity. People believe in what they are doing. People put in their best. No shortcuts. Number one, because people have integrity. Number two, if you don't do what you're supposed to, you're gone the next day. It's like there are no second chances if you are not honest, right? It's not tolerated. So you have to do your best. So imagine a company where all the thousands of people, everybody does what is right and puts in his best. Of course, that product will come out looking the best. And people there go into professions that they want to be in. A lot of things, sadly, in Nigeria, you go to school, you study A, but you go and you work doing B, just because that's where you got the job. If we sort of work that out where people love what they're doing, they learn it, they practice it, then the products and service would be spectacular. Now here I wrote skills. What skills? I'm not sure what the question was.
Oh, was it the last person?
There was a last one, yes. Skills.
Okay, the skills that are important for success. You talk about patience. He quoted Quranic verse. It's talk about patience.
Yes.
So he's giving a comment to that.
Yes.
That patience is good.
Yes. I think a lot of that has been touched on when you spoke.
Yeah.
Yes. The types of skills needed for success. They vary slightly from person to person, but there are some that are really general. If I say personally, you know what skills, I said it also earlier, the ability to work with people. You know, don't think that, oh, I'm good, I know it all. You really don't know it all. And the most fundamental thing too, we say, okay, this person is really talented, right? This person is really a good athlete. But none of us gave ourselves that talent. Like I said, we're born with it. So it's a gift from the Almighty. So we need to be humble to know that we didn't give ourselves those talents, right? They say, it's like someone said, it's a gift. So you just strive and be hard at making yourself better. But know that the ultimate creator is the ultimate controller of everything.
Exactly.
Yes. Now there's one question here. I think it's actually the second.
Yeah.
The habits and practice. And I think the last question kind of answers that one.
All right. Thank you. So we are looking at the clock now. We have 20 more minutes to close from here, but we're going to utilize it and may be very effective. There is a presentation, a portrait here, and there's another quick presentation from Doctor. So we're going to reserve the last 5 minutes for that. But let's pick those guys. Now, come from distant places. If you come from far and you want to ask, where is the guy from Cross River? The Cross River guy. Okay, your hand, you want to ask a question? Okay. Where is the microphone? Okay. Who has the microphone? Okay, please give this one to him.
Assalamu alaikum, Mr. Jelani Aliyu. You are welcome to Kasina. My name is Sadiq Haruna Okili Dankama, student of biotechnology from University of Maiduguri. Sir, as you mentioned earlier, I hear you talk about biotechnology. It's one of the most advanced future career in the world. So, sir, I am finally a student of biotechnology, and I need a good advice from you that make me successful to be an international biotechnologist. Because when you talk about biotechnology, sir, I feel myself like a billionaire. So, sir, I need a good advice from you. Thank you, sir.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. I'm Abdul Hassan Mashi by name. Okay. Sir, I have 2 to 3 questions, and the first one goes like this. In a country like Nigeria, where national grid falls 12 times a year, what's the second alternative for the vehicles, for the electronic vehicles that you are building? The second one is that still Nigeria face security challenges, and these vehicles are called electronic vehicles or something like that. So what if you are driving but someone hacked your vehicle? What will you do? Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Associate Prof. Thank you very much, Jelani. My name is Dr. Bala. I'm from Kankia. Having said so much and heard so much, mine is just a quick I believe, based on the presentations and interactive sessions, so much has said, and we have learned so much. But I believe everybody that comes here, and even those that are listening outside, they want to be successful. And we have a destiny. Despite all the commitments, all the hard work, whatever you put in making sure you succeed, if you are not destined to be an engineer, a doctor, a lawyer, an IT specialist, or whatever it takes, you need to understand that there is a destiny. What God destined to be. You can be a laborer and be successful. You can be a tailor and be successful. You can be whatever and successful. So, Mr. Jelani, what simple advice are you going to use in Kaduna State and in northern Nigeria and in Nigeria as a whole, so that they can be able to accept destiny and redouble their commitment to success in whatever they find, wherever they find themselves? Thank you very much.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Sulaiman Muhammad Ahmed. I am a regional manager from AA Rano Nigeria Limited from South region. Yes, the essence of attending these very humble this very humble workshop is of two reasons. Number one is personal, is to meet and listen my mentor in the name of Associate Prof. Ahmed Adamu. And secondly, as I made mention earlier, I'm working with a given organizations, which I'm not the person staffs that initiate the organizations. So whatever we are having now is a work of our heroes past, as made mention in our national anthem. So my dream before is I'm always thinking, which role am I going to play? Even if I'm not alive, or even if I'm no longer working with that very organizations, so the people that will come back to come and enjoy the role that I have played. So before AA Rano is only restricted in Nigeria. So I'm trying to see how can we going to like make it in a broader sense to international, most especially African country, because I have a very good proposal to Cameroonian government to go and get some collaboration with them to embed there. So since the time of that revolution of automobiles, electric car, solar, CNG, LNG, so and we all know that we Northerners, we are the one that are leading anything related to transport, like so. And when we slept, other will come and take this value. So that what was brought my attention back to see how can we go into because now oil and gas is no longer working, and it will not be valuable because of that revolution that is coming now. So how can we go into transform our stations to LNG, CNG, to maintain our value as Northerners? For instance, could you believe me that anyone, like a layman like me, it will not take me a week to see any one of the government from South, which is a great pleasure for a northerners. I hope I'm making sense. So as a Jelani, yes, sir, what I'm trying to ask in a nutshell, which role and the play will you going to play in that profession of automobile car to help your people as a northerner to maintain their value, so that in the sense that no one will come and overtake that status to other side. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Fashomo Michael. It's such a privilege to be here. I have a question or two. While listening to the story of our amiable guest and icon, something stood out for me because presently I'm at that junction as well. In his journey, he made decision from choosing to study either from University of Lagos or ABU, or going to Italy or England before he eventually settled for USA, and coming back to Nigeria to aid that position. To me, I see those moments as pivot to who he eventually is at the moment. So I want to ask you, please, can you provide factors to be considered when making pivot decisions? What are the factors that someone can consider before making pivot decision? My second question is that what you do have actually make you a household name globally. Apart from being a successful automobile designer, what would you like to be remembered for? Thank you for the opportunity.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Hussein Musa. It's a great pleasure for me to be part of this great workshop. Actually, we recommend the work of Dr. Ahmed Adamu for bringing this gigantic person to Katsina State. So I just want to ask a question. One, I'm in Katsina. I was born in Katsina, even though I travel a lot. But we have a problem here. One is clash of interest between the youth and their parents. We are all here. We have heard what you have said to develop our skills. Okay. Of course, we have learned a lot. You want to develop those skills. So after developing the skills, you wanted to achieve those skills, but there's a problem. Your parent will now come and say, no, you have to go and be a medical doctor, you have to go and be an engineer, or something like this. Especially here in Katsina, everybody wants his daughter or his child to be either a nurse or someone to just be in the hospital, to be working in that custody. So how can a youth overcome such type of challenge? While he wanted to go for something and his parents want him to go and do something else. And second, the kind of opportunity that girls have here is a little bit limited. So if now you are a girl and then you wanted to be an automobile car designer, and then your parents said, no, this is not a place for girls, it's a place for boys. So how can she overcome such type of challenges? And then again, I don't know if I'm making sense. A lot of people here in Katsina always understand that for a girl to be a nurse or to be a medical doctor is the only job she can do. So what advice or what can Dr. Ahmed Adamu do to parents, at least to make them understand that it's not only those things that their child or their kids can be able to do. They have other potentials and they can develop skills. It's not necessary that you must go to school for you to become a successful person. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you so much. So let's take this round. Thank you so much. Hold on. You take this round. You take this round. I will take last. Okay.
So, very important questions. The very first one with biotechnology. You know, like I mentioned, these are the types of fields that we need more and more expertise in. Now, you're the expert in biotechnology. I'd love to sit with you and to further better understand and maybe help strategize how that can add value to Nigeria or even beyond. So I'd love to hear more about biotechnology itself. You're the expert, you're studying it. And so that maybe we look at what is it that could be done with that great field, to support. You're talking about, I'm sure, maybe medicine and food, and how maybe you could derive other materials or products too that could be used beyond those two other sectors. So I'd love to really discuss on that. Now EVs, alternative, probably I didn't hear quite exactly, but maybe you're referring to the lack of power in Nigeria and now we're pushing EVs. If that is the question, you don't have to rely on the grid to power EVs. It could be solar powered. It could be other renewable energy source. Actually, with the huge abundance of gas, it can also be gas. You can have an electric vehicle charging station powered by natural gas. So I don't think it's a huge problem that we can't solve. And then there was a question on hacked vehicle. Well, it's a challenge too that we'll face, just like they hack into sites and other ICT solutions. That may be possible. That would be possible, but then I think then you need a more powerful AI engine that can compensate for a hack into its system, and then take you wherever you want safely. Or you could have a backup AI engine that would sort of neutralize that first diabolical attack. Doctor, you mentioned success and destiny. Yes, as Muslims, we believe that there is destiny, that even before one is born, everything is written out. And also we believe that even though we have that philosophy, one wouldn't just sit down and do nothing. And then you should get up and do your best, and then the Almighty Allah helps you. So to the millions of youth who not everyone would be able to become, an expert in biotechnology or an engineer or nuclear scientists, these really fascinating sounding, professions aren't the only professions needed for civilization. Yes, even those that we take for granted are necessary. Every single type of job is necessary because you're talking about a whole society, teamwork, every person playing his or her role to make things happen. So even if your designation doesn't carry a fancy name, the value you're adding to the community, the life you're able to lead, the spoils you're able to bring back home and raise a family, that is really what matters as a conscientious, responsible member of community. From Cross River State, that's a long way. Regional manager, that's great. I wish you continued success in that company. AA Runo, I believe that's what we flew to get here. So your company is really going places. It's good you're diversifying. So we're ready to sit down and talk with you to identify opportunities where we think you can add value. Yeah, exactly. Yes, and give you more support and advice, and maybe introduce you to newer technologies that would help you grow, not just in Nigeria, but internationally.
That's the third one. So 1, 2, 3. All right. So talk to me later. What of you? Okay, right. So.
Okay, Lagos to ABU, why that decision? That was a very practical one. Like I mentioned, I had a sister who was studying in ABU, and here I was right out of, FGC Sokoto, and it would have been a whole lot easier for me to go to where she was. I had gotten admission to the same courses, so I thought it was much closer and then we could go to school and come back together. But, it's all about priorities also, and when making a decision, what is it really that matters to you when you're faced with two decisions? And if it's more than two decisions, like Prof mentioned, you group them into twos, and then by elimination, you get to the final two and make that final decision. But it's really all about who you are, what is it that you want to do, not what other people want you to do, but what you want to do, what's important to you. So I think the last question, I'll touch a little bit on that. It reminds me there was an earlier question that I really didn't get to. The young lady was asking about if she wanted to do something and her parents say no. I think the gentleman also had the same question. I think it'll take elders to intervene and try to convince those parents. And you shouldn't fight them as an individual. If they say no, just try to find ways to convince them, to let them see the validity in what you really want to do. So approach it very diplomatically. Parents, you just can't fight them, but make them understand what you need to do. Understand why they're afraid of letting you do what you want, and alleviate those fears. So what is it that I would want to be remembered for, apart from being an automotive designer? I would really love to have the opportunity to continue to add value to the lives of every man, woman, and child that I can, because I think it's a responsibility and a job that really we should all be very serious about. It's not just about them, they gotta fix it. I can't fix it, I have nothing to do with it. No, we all have something to do with it. And we should all play a role in really elevating this nation to be as great as it could be. We must take Nigeria to that level where it can stand shoulder to shoulder with the best of the countries out there.
Thank you so much. The last sentence has been the highlight of today: serving other people, helping other people, selflessly being there for people, taking responsibility for other people. And what a way to end the workshop, with the highlight of the workshop. And if you have to be successful, your purpose must be around adding value to other people. He wanted to be automotive designer, not just for the sake of the fancy name of automotive designer, to add value to people. So also your purpose could be different, but the tail end is to add value to other people. When you do that, that's when you are successful. I know most of you want to take pictures with him. We're going to arrange it in this organized manner. In the same quadrant we've taken the questions, we arrange for these guys to come forward, take picture with him. The other guys, this group, and then that group, we take it in this order. But just before that, someone has a portrait to present. I don't know what is it. It's a gift. And then, doctor, you have a presentation, a picture to show. Is it ready? Would you like to come forward first and then do that? You want to, from there, okay, give you the microphone.
Sir, please allow me to ask the last question. Please.
We've drawn the curtain. Okay, just say it.
Okay.
Quickly.
Sir, I want to ask about how you started your career. Meaning, what I mean here,
okay,
the first offer you get, I want to know, or we want to know, how did you get it? Did you get it because you deserve it? Or did you get it because you know someone? The reason why I asked this question, it is still existing tradition in Nigeria. For you to get an offer or appointment or a job, you must know someone. So that is why I asked this question. Thank you so much.
Which of the jobs?
The first one. The first ever job.
The first ever job in the U.S.?
In the U.S. Were you referred by someone? Did someone give you notes to get that job?
Well, the school, CCS, College for Creative Studies, you go into that school, and from day one, you're competing, like I said. And from day one, the discussion is, so graduated last year, and he or she got a job with Ford or GM. So your you're piped up to want to work with those companies, and everybody is.
So that's the target.
That's the target.
Yeah.
Yes. So at the end of the year, when you graduate, you make your presentations. All the companies come through one after another, and they look at your work. So then they go back and they make a decisions, and then one after another you hear calling, oh, so got a job by Ford, he's gone. Then 2 days later, this other person got a job. So, like I said, I was making plans to come back home. I didn't hear from anybody. Say, okay, no worries. Anyway, I was going back home, and all the while GM was trying to get a hold of me to say, hey, we really want you to come and work with us. So that's how it is. They come, they pick you based on what they think you can add to the value to the company. Actually, there was a guy that I think he got hired not long after we got hired, and he actually only spent 3 years at the school, first, second, third, and GM said, no, just quickly come and work for us. We don't even want you to finish. Yes.
I see.
So that's how it happened.
Thanks so much. You can proceed now, Doctor. I appreciate that, sir.